Here's my favorite word, whereas.
I know, and you got to read that. Whereas.
Whereas.
I'm already getting text about it's not working. Is it working? All right.
Is it volume down on the TV?
I don't know. It's the Dirt Road Review guy.
He's going to read our.
I just said let me know.
Do the invocation.
I said he's doing something.
I'm going to delegate Chris. You want to do the invocation? I'm good.
6:30, Bear.
Mary's here. No, Mary's not here.
Mary's not here.
What is going on in your face?
Jim,
You let Jim-
Kendall, you can do the invocation? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Machinery moving.
Good evening and welcome to the Coffeyville City Commission meeting for Tuesday, April 25th. Tonight's invocation will be by Margie Miller of Crossroads Community of Christ. And if you'll please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, we thank you this evening for this opportunity to meet together as members of the community and members of the City Commission. We pray that your Holy Spirit will be able to lead, guide, and direct these men this evening as they make their decisions. And we ask a blessing upon all of who have come to observe. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Margie. Moving into the consent agenda, City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, April 11, 2017, and 2017 appropriation ordinance number AO-17-08 in the amount of $6,019,073.87. Do we have any questions or amendments to these two items?
Is that all 6 million? That's not bad.
Only $6 million.
Not bad.
All right.
Make a motion.
Second. Are you running it?
I guess I'm running.
Well, we don't have Cindy, do we?
Yeah, Miss Cindy.
A motion was made by Commissioner Martin and seconded by Mayor Bauer to approve city consent agenda. The consent agenda. Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Kassler.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, moving into regular agenda items, public hearing, special presentation, and proclamations. Tonight is a proclamation to declare Saturday, May 27th as Poppy Day. I will read the proclamation. It's being presented to Lee Twitchell and Penny Vanderpool from the American Legion Auxiliary. Sorry.
Mayor,
Are they
I
not here?
don't see them here this
See him
evening.
here.
Okay. Do I need to still read it or no?
No.
Okay. All right.
Dodge that bullet.
I guess so. All right, into new business. Ordinance number G-17-01 is the first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 26 nuisances of the City of Coffeyville Code of Ordinances. City Attorney Paul Kreitz will make comments.
Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, we adopted the new city code in December of 2016. As provisions of the nuisance code were implemented, we noted that there were some duplications and some obsolete provisions that apparently did not get vetted during the codification process. So this ordinance is basically to clean up provisions of the new nuisance code, Chapter 26. We have included a marked up version of the ordinance in your agenda packet as well as a clean version. And I also referred to the sections of the ordinance that were being repealed, primarily due to duplication, that would be available for you to look at online. So I guess at this point I would ask you all if you have any questions about any specific thing that we're amending by this ordinance. I know there are some questions perhaps about procedure that we'll try to answer as well.
Any questions from the commission?
Is exterior conditions, has anything changed there?
No.
No
not-
changes?
No, not from what we tried to adopt with the new code.
So there's really no changes, it's just
Yeah.
shorten it up, clean it up?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Wasn't the same without you, Cindy.
Glad you made it.
I am too.
So is Kendall, I think. Do we have any other questions regarding ordinance number G-17-01?
Okay, so just one more time, Paul. I mean, I didn't read this whole thing. It's a lot to read. The notices of violation, the penalties, all that's the same.
The notices, the penalties are all the same as what we tried to adopt in the code. You know, one thing that I guess came up during the review was there was a provision in here that required the code enforcement officer to give notice to an offender, and if the violation wasn't resolved within 10 days, she would have to present a resolution to you all directing her to allow the city to abate the condition. That resolution, I think, was going to have to be served on the property owner. That's not the way it has been done, not the way the prior code required it to be done. I don't know how that got into the new code, but that's one of the areas that we're trying to clean up. We felt that was sort of redundant because a property owner, an offender, is given notice, given an opportunity, given a chance to either abate a problem or to request a
Abate,
hearing.
does that mean fix it?
Fix it, yes.
Okay,
To
okay.
fix it, or to request a hearing before the city manager. And then that person also has a right of appeal from the city manager to the municipal court if a person wanted to go that far with it. You know, for the most part, notices are given and the conditions are fixed before really the city has to go much farther with it.
Right.
I got it. Mr. Williams, would this be the time to mention what you mentioned a while ago?
Go
or
ahead.
not?
I'm just trying to, I think you answered one of my questions, but the way that, and I just want to make sure that I'm perfectly clear on this ordinance. The code enforcement officer serves the person a notice that they have a violation. That gives that person a certain allotted amount of time to correct the supposed violation.
Yes.
Alleged violation.
Yes.
Then if it's not corrected after that 10 days, then what happens?
If it's not corrected within 10 days, or, you know, and that's on certain conditions. There are other conditions that allow for 45 days, like exterior conditions of structures. There's more time allowed.
Right.
But in a condition where, like, if there's, you know, a pile of lumber in the yard that needs to be removed, they're given 10 days to fix that. And that, the notice will say, you have 10 days to abate it, to fix it, and if you don't, then the city is going to take care of it.
Okay.
And that's what happens. The city would send a contractor out typically to take care of whatever the offending condition is, and then bill the property owner, and if the bill doesn't get paid, then it actually is assessed to the property in the form of an assessment that goes on a tax bill.
And that could be a little bit more specific to the process if you,
And
That's
that,
what you're wanting.
and that would be my next question is that, depending on the property, you know, yards is I can understand, but I'm more what I'm primarily questioning is like on people's porches and things of that, and things like that. What happens to that property? Does it just automatically get destroyed?
The process in the entirety is that we put it into a clean package, a cleanup package. It's bid on, we take the lowest bidder, and then we set a dumpster, and that those articles or whatever it is that's creating the nuisance is placed in those dumpsters for removal. And the contractors have to specify, we know which dumpster that particular stuff from that house went to. I mean, we can identify those. And then, once it's placed in the dumpster, you don't get it back. I mean, there is an opportunity up to that time. Many times, code enforcement, in this case Tammy, is on site as the cleanup is taking place. So if someone says, is there any way that I could keep this table? Yes, if you take it inside, yes, we'll give you that opportunity. And that, the 10-day timeline is not just hard and fast. That's when, once it's up, then we start the process to bring all this to fruition. It's not like 10 days and we're on your property, because it takes a while. We have other ones to deal with. So they have, in many regards, far more than 10 days. And Tammy is, in some cases, maybe a little too lenient. She does attempt to work with people and give them time, additional time to make these, if we see progress is taking place. But yeah, once it's in the dumpster, it's in the dumpster, and then it is trash.
So then my next question would be, is there a log of what's taken off of the property? And my reasoning for asking that question is that if you enter into my porch and take a suitcase or something along that line, and I said the suitcase is full of valuable gemstones, then there's a dispute on what you took. You took a suitcase, but according to me, you took something that was valuable. You see what I'm saying?
No, I do understand.
So is there a case file? What I'm saying is, each one of these houses that we're going to, and we're abating this property, is there a case file for that particular house, and it kept like a log of what we did take, what we didn't take, photographs or something along that line?
Evidence.
Chief Roski might be better
What we
able
do
to
is,
address that.
what she does is she makes a case after she goes and looks at the different properties, takes pictures, then she's on the property, on site, then takes pictures while they're cleaning up, and that all goes into a case file. We don't log anything, but the pictures are in the case file.
And that's held,
That's held till the
Without-
case is closed.
okay.
And
I'll add too, I'm not all about making extra steps. I believe that you're giving notices, you should probably take care of your stuff. For the most part, I don't really see a big issue here. And every other one of these times people have come to me and complained, I asked for the paperwork, the problem seems to go away instantly. Lots of times they're kind of blown out of the water. In this particular case, I think we all know what we're talking about. There was a pretty old sentimental, I guess you could call it spiritual item. What I'm worried about is, what if we've established, these are the things that are going to get thrown away. Humans are known to make errors. What if something accidentally gets thrown away that wasn't supposed to? And I don't really want to speak for Chris, but there was a little conversation about what if we had a holding area just for a day or so, when they come home and realize, hey, that was took. Is there any last chance that maybe, I could say that was, maybe it wasn't there when the letter was sent out, but for whatever reason, it showed up after the fact and it got mixed in with the other stuff. Like I said, I don't want to create a whole bunch more steps, but
Right.
there's some things you can't
You know,
replace. They
usually-
should have took care of it maybe better, there's plenty of ways.
usually they have probably 2 weeks to 30 days.
After they've took it off the porch?
No, after.
Yeah, see, that's my point, is what if they take something that wasn't supposed to be took by human error, or they put something there after the fact of what
Right.
the cleanup package was put out, I'm just trying to figure out a way to make sure that we don't,
What we plan on doing
I don't know.
is after we get this nuisance code resolved, is we're planning on making door hangers, and we're putting the code on that door hanger and hanging it on there after the 10 days is up. So they will realize, then they have Tammy's phone number, and they can call and say, hey, I forgot, can I have a couple more days? That's fine. We're willing to work with the people. We don't want to go
I
take their
get it.
stuff.
So far,
Chief.
of all the complaints, I haven't seen anything on Tammy's side that's ever been, I'm just trying to make sure.
How quickly after the cleanup is the dumpster removed? Is it that day?
No, it usually, unless it's full, then they pull it that day, but usually it's probably a week. Just depends on how many cleanups we have.
Okay, so I guess in essence, there is a little bit of time. Like I said, whichever property we're cleaning up, we know which dumpster, it's logged which dumpster. So there is a little bit of time, I guess.
This is
building
why I really
force.
hate to get in the middle of these
Right.
deals, because I wasn't there.
Right.
Of course, you're wrong, she's wrong,
No, I understand.
it's
I just think that
a nightmare.
one thing that I'd like to add is we've made, in my 4 years on the commission, tremendous progress in the city of Coffeyville
Yes.
on trying to basically beautify the city and make property owners responsible for their own area where they live. Obviously, I think that that goes a long way to try to recruit businesses. And I think that it goes a long way with trying to get industries to move to Coffeyville, because one of the largest complaints that I know that I've heard is people in the past have had issues with the perception that Coffeyville was not one of the cleanest cities in the county. I think that we went a long way to try to I mean, I commend the staff and I commend the citizens more than anything, because they're the ones that have really made the effort. The staff, they go around and do a good job, but really it's the citizens that have to voluntarily comply. Voluntary compliance is what you want versus trying to force someone into doing something.
You're just always trying to make rules. You know some of the things, a couple of things that's happened. We all know, we're just trying to make it so we don't have the problem, solve the problem.
And we do.
And it
we
looks
do
like there's a little gap between the
practice some
time
common sense.
on this
Right.
past issue where there was a gap there that, maybe we can fix it with a little language. I wouldn't mind seeing it go to 2 weeks. I know one of the guys that complained, called me one time, said he was out of town working a lot. I can relate to that. And 2 weekends, 10 days would include, 2 weekends, of course.
Well, and if.
A lot of times these guys are gone one weekend, they need another weekend.
And if they contact Tammy, she will give extensions to that time.
I was gonna say, you can file, I'm sure that there's a process to where you can file for an extension.
Yeah, because we would much rather the homeowner clean up their property than us coming in and doing that. So if they are going to be gone or are gone frequently, if they will contact Tammy, like I said, she works with several people that, like I said, we do practice some common sense.
Would it be, you think it'd be a big problem if we went to 2 weeks? Would anyone else support that? I mean, I'd be good to go to 2 weeks for 2 reasons. It gives them another weekend, and then we're softening up a little bit. Okay? If that's, a proper statement. But I wouldn't mind going to 2 weeks on that, in light of what's happened recently.
I don't know if it'd fix it, but I wouldn't fight you on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand your point, guy leaves on Monday, works through the weekend, and
Right,
comes
right.
back. I mean, I know,
Right,
I've
right,
done it as well.
right.
But,
I'd be for that.
I'm starting to wonder
That's-
if anything would actually fix the issues we're gonna have, but there's always gonna be a problem.
An extra 3 days isn't gonna hurt anything to me. I mean, we've got a little bit of a citywide problem. I agreed with everything Chris said. Thank you. I'd like to see that go to 2 weeks. Outside of that,
In which, and let's be careful, what we say goes to,
the 10 days goes to 2 weeks.
on what part, because nuisance abatement for your grass, an extra 3 or 4 days is a lot of time.
Right,
You're talking about just on blighted materials on
right,
porches and
yeah,
yards?
right. Well, if it-
Is
if it
grass,
complicates things too much,
yeah,
then I'm okay to forget it, but I didn't think about the grass thing.
I think that for the sake of
one
just
way
making
forward.
it, instead of having to rewrite I think that we should leave it at 10 days, and I think that we should leave staff with the impression that the commission feels that they should be willing to use common sense to grant extensions when appropriate.
I'm
I think
fine
that's
with,
fair.
I'm fine with that too, you know.
And we do that
Yeah, I think
as
that's
much
fair.
as we can.
This thing comes up about every 3 or 4 or 5 months, so everybody knows it.
Everybody's
Okay.
got treasures in their yard. I got a couple.
Right.
So I move to approve ordinance number G-17-01, which is a first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 26 of the City of Coffeyville Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve ordinance number G-17-01 for first reading. Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye, sorry.
Resolution number R-17-25, a resolution to allocate the fiscal year 17 local alcoholic liquor funds. City Manager Kendall Francis will make comments.
Mayor and Commission, as you're aware, the state of Kansas has created an alcohol liquor fund. The state statute prescribes that those monies that come back to the cities be distributed specifically 1/3 to the city's general fund, 1/3 to Special Parks and Recreation Fund, and then 1/3 to the a special alcohol and drug program fund. And the recommendation we have before you tonight is to distribute those liquor tax funds to 3 organizations who have followed the application procedure and outlined the programs and their intent on how to spend those funds. The state statute is specific as to how those monies have to be spent, and it's there in your packet as far as the specifics on what qualifies. Staff had created, for the first time this year, created an application process that required anyone applying for the funds to outline the programs that they were intending to utilize, how it fell in line with state statutes, how it would be tracked, how they would know it was successful, and just made them the programs more accountable for the monies that are given to them. And then after that application process, it was reviewed by myself and other members of staff to make sure that they fell in line with the requirements of the state statute. The three applicants that you have before you tonight are the DARE program, the Boys and Girls Club of Coffeyville, and Fork County Mental Health Center. All 3 meet the qualifications that are set forth, and we recommend that you approve the funding for those programs.
Are we not putting any in the Special Parks and Recreations Fund?
This is only 1/3 of the total of the tax money. We put 1/3 in the general fund and 1/3 in the Parks and Recreation Fund. So it's roughly $18,000 for each fund.
So then can we take the other, as you all know, I'm not for giving it to Fork County Mental Health. Is there any objection to taking that $4,000 and putting it into the Special Parks and Recreation?
It can't. That third of the money, that pool of money, $18,091.56, can only be spent for this special alcohol fund.
So then can we take that $4,000 and $118 and split it up between the Boys and Girls Club and Coffeyville Police Department?
There are a few options that you would have. Now, the total money available for this year is $18,091.56. The three requests total $13,496.55. So there's already about a $4,595 and a penny still left to be expended. So we could do a few things. We could, originally I had recommended that maybe we just roll it over into the next year, but after some more thought into it, I would recommend that we would open it up to a second round of applications. The intent is to spend this money and get it in the hands of programs that are going to be beneficial to the citizens of Coffeyville and Montgomery County. So if there are some programs that miss the application deadline, I think it would be wise that we would open it up again. As far as the expending the money, the decision is yours on to who you want to, which program you want to expend the money to. Now, the one problem I see with just splitting the balance up between whoever is that the programs that they specify, they put a dollar amount that they thought was going to require to run that program. So to give them more than they believe it's going to take to run really isn't going towards the program that it's specified for.
This four-county deal is for the people that are, a few years ago, this was for the DUI people, right? The state mandated program.
I believe there's a representative from 4 counties here tonight. I'm sure he'd come forward. He'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good evening, Steve Denny, 4 County. I'm Clinical Director. I oversee all of our outpatient services, crisis, and alcohol and drug services.
Could you help me understand exactly what you want the $4,118 for and what it'll be used for?
Well, I've outlined it in the application packet in terms of the exact elements that were required. I described organizational purpose, history of the organization. I broke down our admission trends in terms of the residents of Coffeyville. You can see that alcohol and methamphetamine are the two primary #1 reasons for admissions for treatment here in the Coffeyville area.
Are these voluntary admissions, or is this like a court-mandated deal?
All of the above. So we have voluntary people who seek help on their own. We have court-referred individuals.
What's the percentage on that, you think?
I don't have that exact in front of me, but I would estimate approximately 70% are court-referred and 30% are voluntary. And the portion, the dollars we're requesting go to fund services to individuals that do not have the capacity to pay for services, who have an addiction.
Pay for services as what? As the alcohol assessment test?
Alcohol and so there's an assessment process, and then there's treatment services. That's individual, group, help support some medication management services. It goes for whatever the client needs to achieve the outcome.
So if you get a DUI, you're wanting this tax money to go towards helping someone who voluntarily did the DUI to use that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, DUI is only one event that results in someone coming to our courts. That's one type of event, but there are multiple reasons someone coming to our courts. Excuse me?
Well, what are the other ones that get?
So other one would be for example, an employer in the area referring someone for an alcohol and drug assessment. We do quite a few municipal referrals for DUIs and other type of city disturbances, and we do. There's a lot of voluntary people, or there are a portion of voluntary people who come in seeking help on their own as well.
But we may understand a great deal of what you're going to use this money for, which I understand it's only $4,100, but it's $4,100 of taxpayers' money. So a great deal of this money is going to go to people that have committed a crime and then can't afford to pay their fines, essentially, or the fees or whatever it takes to process. And you said private companies are referring their employees to you?
Yeah, we receive referrals from employers, and we receive referrals for a number of reasons. There are multiple reasons we receive referrals for.
See, I have a little bit of a problem with the taxpayers' money going to people that have broken a law. You don't, do the crime, all the time, all that stuff. And then in private companies, sending their people and wanting these folks to pay for their laundry. I mean, I already know, I don't need to.
Well, the private companies are trying to help their people.
Well, I understand, but it's
You know,
still
and they're
private.
paying into this tax. These people are actually paying into this tax
Well, this is
that
sales
they're
tax.
getting back.
No,
I
well,
mean,
yes,
I
yes.
mean, just one point, I mean,
Yes and no. This particular tax is an alcohol liquor tax, so the company would actually have to go to a liquor store and buy the alcohol to.
no, I didn't
to-
say the company, I said the people themselves.
The other thing is that if it was a company referral, I would imagine that would be covered by, most insurances are 100% covered of any type of substance abuse, if I'm not mistaken. I have a couple questions. The total amount for this project is $129,485.32. You're requesting $4,118 from the city of Coffeyville. You said other sources of funding are Medicaid, so people who come in with Medicaid and have substance abuse and need treatment, they get paid through, you get paid through Medicaid.
Sure.
Which that's actually.
Just like any other insurance program.
Right, that's a taxpayer-funded resource. Commercial insurance, I just talked about that. It says on here, a state block grant. What is that?
So the state of Kansas receives federal block grant dollars that are allocated on a yearly basis based on the federal CMS's, SAMHSA's allocation for treating individuals who do not have insurance or ability to pay to provide alcohol and drug services. And that's quite frankly where the majority of these taxpayer dollars would go to, is to fund those individuals when we run out of those dollars to cover those services.
And how much did you apply for on that state block grant?
It's a yearly allocated amount. We don't apply for it. We will be reapplying for it this year. I believe our total funding is, other paper back there, approximately $139,000. But that is for our entire catchment area, which includes 5 counties. That is not just for Coffeyville.
Okay.
So we have to spread that out in multiple locations across multiple sites.
And of the 134 total emissions, was that countywide, or was that your whole geographical location that you serve wide, or is that just specifically for the city of Coffeyville?
That's at the Coffeyville location.
Okay. But,
A few of those could be individuals that live outside of city limits, but they're generally people in the Coffeyville area. The vast majority would be Coffeyville residents.
what other sources of funding do you guys get? Do you guys get federal funds too?
Well, the block grant dollars I just described, in essence, are a form of federal funding. They come down through the state, but yes, that's what it goes
'Cause I
to.
mean,
As a community mental health center, we get additional federal funds and state funds, but those are allocated towards mental health services, not substance use treatment services. Substance use treatment is a separately licensed activity. We require a license for every location in order to provide that care in each location.
The other question I have is, these are people who have either already offended, or people who are already have a substance abuse issue, right? Per se?
When someone comes in for an assessment, we're assessing whether or not they have a substance use issue. Once they enter treatment, yes, we would have determined that they have a substance use issue. And I'd also add that it's not just offenders. We also provide quite a bit of care for individuals referred through DCF. They have a process. If someone is investigated for a child custody issue or a child neglect, often parents are referred, and we would provide care to those parents as part of their conditions as well. So it doesn't affect families, children. We do serve adolescents as well, often who have been in patterns of addictive cycles within their families. So this, I think sometimes there's this notion that it's just those people who are, the quote, person with the addiction that just keeps funneling through the system. We serve a variety of people with a variety of needs that benefit our community by helping them recover from addiction. And they return to the community employed and functioning, and or maybe they return to an existing job that they would have lost if we had not been involved. And also add that they are taxpayer dollars, but they're taxpayer dollars generated as a result of a substance that's an intoxicating substance that's sold throughout this community that generates those dollars. So anytime you legalize a substance that has those effects, you're going to have consequences. Access increases to a variety of populations.
Well, I don't know about that. Just because it's legal don't mean you have to do it and get a DUI. That's kind of
My final question, actually, second of final question. Out of the 134 people that are remitted from the city of Coffeyville, do you have any statistics on your recidivism rate? How many of those people re-enter your system after they've had treatment?
That's something we could track. I didn't track it last year because the commission chose not to fund us last year.
Okay. And my last question is that out of the other 4 major communities in Montgomery County, actually I guess we'll go 5, the county itself, what funding do you receive from those communities? Do you receive any?
Yes.
Okay, what communities?
You want dollar amounts or just want the communities?
I just want the communities.
So we get some from Montgomery County, we get some from Independence, we get some from, I believe we get some from Cowley County, some from Chautauqua County. I'm thinking, it seems like.
Do you actually have those numbers with you?
Mhm.
You brought them?
Yeah, I brought them. I don't know to what degree my boss wants me to disclose those numbers, but I can assure you we do. And we do receive
I would
them.
think that you wouldn't have any problems disclosing those numbers if you were asking for additional funding. The other thing is I think that I wouldn't have any, those are tax dollars that you're disclosing though, right?
Okay, so maybe I misspoke. I think that is public knowledge. Could you explain to me why you would want to know those numbers?
Do what?
Could you explain to me the purpose of why you would need those numbers?
Well, I don't have to explain if they're public knowledge.
Which
All I have to
community
do
you
is
want to know?
request them.
Which community are you most interested in?
Well, if you got them all, I'll take all of them. I'm just trying to compare what our funding is versus other government entities' funding, and have a comparable as what, maybe we need to, maybe we are at the bottom of the bottom of the chain there. Maybe we are the lowest contributor. Maybe we're the highest, but if we don't ask, we don't know.
Give me a second. Our budget is based on an accrual basis, so I need to take some of these numbers times 12. I can tell you that, just hold on just a second. At the end of March of 2017, we'd have received, let's see, liquor tax dollars. From Montgomery County, we received a total of $11,895, Wilson County, $8,762, Chautauqua County, $3,000, Elk County, $5,949, Independence, just under $24,000.
City of Independence gave $24,000.
Yes.
You guys got all kinds of money.
Any more questions for him? Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think it's been a lot of discussion here, and I think you guys do a heck of a job. And I made the comment a while ago that, I don't know too much about all of this, but, I think we ought to go with it. If we're done talking, this isn't very much money. I know they do a lot of work. I've been a little bit involved with them through some issues over the years, and I know you guys do a great job. Last job I'd ever want, I'll tell you that. But I'd make a motion to approve the resolution as adopted.
I got a question not regarding him. Is there any way we could, okay, number one, is this public knowledge out there Or why is it you feel this may be, people don't want to try for this?
I can't venture a guess why they didn't apply. We did make it public. We made the application public. It's public every year, and we have about the same 3 applicants every year.
I mean, that's what I was running. Look, I'm not for, I'm not really for giving them this money. I think they get a lot of money elsewhere. I feel that I would love to see more nonprofit organizations try and do this, but my motion,
But you gotta remember, they have, there's
Yeah, I know.
very specific criteria,
Yeah.
not just anyone can apply for it, so.
well, I mean, I don't know if the Boy Scouts could try, the Girl Scouts, whatever. I don't know if they fall in line either, but I was hoping there'd be more this time, but you're right, there usually is. My suggestion is giving the 2 their money, and then, I mean, if you guys want to split it up and give them the rest, that's fine by me, but I myself make a motion not to.
Well, we have a motion on the floor. Paul, how do we do
Make a
this?
different motion.
We have a motion. If we don't have a second, it dies,
Right.
and then moves on to the next.
I'll say Commissioner Taylor made the motion to approve the resolution as it reads. Reluctantly, I'm going to second it. The reason that I say reluctantly is I appreciate you coming and taking the heat, because it was a lot of questions. My questions are motivated more towards, I think this money is better resource to be allocated towards prevention than after the fact, but you guys do the, and when I say prevention, I want to be specific, because if you look at the other 2 applicants, you got DARE, which is children, trying to prevent them before they get to your services. You got Boys and Girls Club, who is children, trying to prevent them before they get to your services. You offer a valuable service. I think that you're an asset to the community, but I think that you will agree with me that money would be better spent trying to prevent those kids from getting to your services prior to them already showing up. I think you would agree with that. But I'm going to second the motion based upon those comments that I made. And another reason is that I would like to have other applicants, but it's been out there. We followed the proper, publishing in it. And if people can't get up there and fill out the application, well, then those folks were the ones that get the money because they filled out the application. That's just how simple it is if you meet the criteria.
Motion was made by Commissioner Taylor and seconded by Commissioner Williams to approve resolution number R-17-25 for adoption. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
No.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Castler.
No.
Yeah, and as far as going forward, just need a consensus. Do you want to maybe do a second round of applications? Like I said, we still have roughly $4,500, I believe it was, to allocate this year, or we can roll it over into next year.
I think we should, I think we should pursue another round.
Okay.
And I think we should really try to push it towards, like what Marcus said, our nonprofit, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever they're applicable to, but try to let them really communicate it out to them that this is an available set of funds. That I'm not implying that we didn't do that, but I think really trying to push that out there that.
Would it be available to Boy Scouts?
Well, see, and
If they offer some kind of
if
drug.
if they have a program that would meet those criteria, I don't know what they
Maybe a
offer.
drug awareness program, prevention kind of a deal or something?
Surely they got a patch for that.
Probably some kind of prevention. type
Surely
of-
they got a patch for that.
Yeah,
don't they?
maybe.
We used to have
I don't
patches, now
know.
we got apps.
Right.
If we hadn't, to me, if we hadn't raised our mill levy the last 2 years in a row and county taxes going up, I'd go with you. But we have, and me for one, I'd just soon roll it over to next year like our city manager suggested that we hired to help with these things. But that's my opinion.
I'd rather get.
I'm going against you on that one, Paul, but
It's fair.
either way is good. It's taxpayer money.
I think as long as it benefits the
I
community,
should- yeah.
that's the biggest thing.
So on another note, with the avocation of the new bill that's signed that stores are gonna sell strong beer, is that gonna affect this funding, or is that the store's gonna collect that, or what?
It'll still be collected the same way as, the way I understand it.
Sales tax, right?
Yeah, so we did see an increase from last year, this year from last year, so maybe we may see another increase. I don't know. It makes it more readily available, I guess.
And there'll be more problems and they'll need more money. But anyway,
Less of a stigma to buy your beer at Walmart as it is that liquor store, huh?
okay.
Thank you guys for applying.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I guess I got a little bit of mixed review there. What is the consensus as far as opening it
I'll ask
up?
for a
or-
consensus of if you guys want to open it up for second round.
Spent this year, spent next year, I mean, really, whatever, as long as it gets spent where it's supposed to get spent I'm with prevention, and I'd rather spend it on a kid instead of a guy that got a DUI for running through somebody's yard and taking out a tree.
So Marcus, you're first. Open it up.
I've opened it up.
Justin, I heard you said you don't care either way, right?
As long as it goes to more
Either
prevention
way.
wildlife work.
I'm for rolling to next year.
I'm for it being open.
You're for opening up.
What was the count? I'm gonna go.
If you go,
Let's just open it. Let's just open it up and see what kind of, because even if we,
It sounds like the second round is probably where everybody's leaning. So,
Yeah.
and if we don't
We
get
may not even get
applicants,
any applicants, so it may be a void subject
it may be a
whatsoever.
moot point.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was looking for an opportunity to talk about my coin flipping deal again, but you wouldn't go for it.
Hey, that's your-
Almost had you.
About got me in there, didn't you?
Almost had you, Chris.
We'll open it up to the city manager's report now.
Mayor and Commission, real quickly, probably the big news as far as around City Hall today was that we had bid openings for City Hall renovations, and good news all around. All the bids were within budget. Staff will be reevaluating them, and we will come back to the May 9th meeting for a recommendation for approval on those. And we'll be moving forward with that almost immediately after that.
So you're not prepared to talk about that yet?
Not really, not
Okay,
specifically.
okay.
But like I said, good news, even in the worst-case scenario, we were just as predicted, as staff anticipated.
Good,
Bids are
good.
right in line.
So we're gonna see quickly, things progressing rather quickly here within the next several months.
Yeah, absolutely,
Outstanding.
absolutely.
Good.
Okay, reminder, the branding reveal will be Monday, May 1st, so a week from yesterday. It'll be right here at the Activity Center. We are going to televise and stream it just like we would a commission meeting.
What time is that?
It will be at 6 o'clock.
It's on Monday?
Yes, Monday, May 1st. 8th and Washita, we're delaying that project due to the forecast for this week. We made the saw cuts in the street and we had it blocked off, prepared to tear it open, but it sounds like rain the majority of this week, and it didn't make sense to open it up right now. So we've removed the barricades, opened the street back up, and we'll until such time that we think it's feasible to go ahead and begin that project. So was no sense in just prematurely delaying that project. KBI training started here. They were in town today and out at the pistol range, and they'll be training with our officers tomorrow. Will be some SWAT training, so you'll see them in neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods, if they're going to be in those neighborhoods, the people have been made aware of their presence, so we don't have any panic calls that SWAT is knocking down their neighbor's door.
And that goes through how long? Into the week?
Just tomorrow.
Oh, just tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, it's a 2-day in and out type of deal.
You part of that, Chris, or?
No, actually, I'm in a trial prep for the rest of the week for a homicide trial that's coming up.
As you guys are aware, the CRMC lease, we need to renegotiate that or see what changes, if any, you want to make to that. I think it would be appropriate that we have a work session to discuss that, to see kind of your leanings towards that. I believe that I had recommended a possible date of Tuesday, May 16th. That's kind of an off Tuesday. If you guys are open to that date, I think we can meet and talk about what direction you want to go with that.
That day's fine with me.
Works for me.
Can we?
Tuesday, what?
Tuesday, May 16th. Like I said, it's one of our off Tuesdays.
Sure.
We'll schedule for 6 o'clock, and it'll be at the conference room.
Okay.
And we'll make plans in that regard. Just might let you know that Dollar Tree ribbon cutting is this Thursday at 9 a.m. So their ribbon cutting grand opening will be Thursday. So another retailer.
Say that again for the public, too.
The Dollar Tree, the new Dollar Tree store that's in the Coffeyville Plaza, the ribbon cutting is 9 a.m. Thursday.
Thank you.
Also, I'd like to just kind of make mention that it is mowing season. I just want to remind citizens that it is illegal to blow your grass clippings into the street. That's against our stormwater prevention plan. Just a reminder that they can be cited for that offense. I see a lot of mowers going hot and heavy now with all this rain, and it will continue. So I just encourage you, if you get your clippings in the street, if you sweep them up and clean them up, keep them in the yard.
So the people will know the grass gets into the sewer system,
Yeah, stormwater runoff.
and if it stays in the grass, then it doesn't get there, but it kind of goes down in the ground and doesn't
Right.
get in the
Yeah,
system.
it's not filtering
Okay.
into the rivers and back to the, so that's the reasoning behind
And
it.
it saves us money.
Yeah, it would.
So people, I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know it. So if the public, knows that and spread the word. Good to know.
And then finally, we're still taking applications for lifeguards. It's a needed job, and we're a little short on lifeguards right now for the aquatic center. So if people aren't aware of that, we'd encourage them to apply for that if they're so inclined.
Age?
16?
Okay.
Yeah, 16.
Does it pay pretty good for them? Is that a fair question?
I don't know. That's a relative question, I guess. Yeah.
Just trying to get them to hear us on TV and spread the word.
It's
Pays pretty
it
good.
doesn't pay as good as, Taylor Crane and Rigging, but,
You went for that one, Kendall. Thank you.
okay, that's all I have.
At this time, we'll take comments from the public. The public is free to comment on items not listed on the agenda. Please address comments to the commission as a body and be mindful of others who may also wish to speak by limiting comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any comments? Come right on up here.
Margie Miller, 1307 Morgan Street. I live at the end of Morgan Street on the west end of, coming off of Luark Street. Just north of Dollar General gets mowed about once every 2 weeks, and there's trash all over that lot, and they mow it with the trash, they tear it up, it's just a terrible mess. And There is a man that lives at Sycamore Landing who sometimes comes down and picks up all that trash and puts it in a baggie, but it's something he just feels like he must do because it's such a terrible mess. I just came by there this evening on my way to this meeting, and it is awful. There must be 100 pieces of paper and plastic bags that have gone through the mower all over that lawn, and it just looks terrible.
I saw
So I
that.
thought you ought to.
I saw that last week. I know exactly
Did you
what
see?
you're
And
I
they
did
do
too.
that every time they mow it. They never pick up the
Vacant lot.
trash. They just
Vacant
mow
lot
right
on
over
the
the
north.
trash.
Used to be the
So that's
corner.
something I think we
North-
need
yeah,
to
the
look
north side of
into,
Dollar General,
talk
I
about
think.
between Dollar
trash in the
General
community.
and
That's
CRMC,
something.
a woman
Thank you.
Thank you,
Right,
ma'am.
yeah, that
Okay.
open lot.
place.
It's like that all the time. I don't know whose trash it is. Is it Dollar General's? Is it Brahms blowing north? I don't know, but it's clearly,
Someone owns that lot.
I would
and Someone
think it-
should be responsible for picking
well,
that
if
stuff up.
the guy
before
that
they-
owns the lot ain't doing it, maybe he'll find out. Somebody, in my opinion, if anybody needs to be given a ticket for blight, that place looks like hell. I mean, it's terrible.
Well, first of all, Marjorie, thanks for coming forward. I liked hearing from the public. For one, we like to hear from the public, and we've been talking about this. Kendall, you'll work on it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll open it up to comments from the commissioners and staff.
I got a short one.
I got one too. Go ahead.
A couple weeks ago, well, actually, whenever the branding started, I guess February, I was under the impression, and I think a couple other of us were, that we were going to get some choices, and we talked about that a couple weeks ago. And now Monday is the presentation for that. So I'm going to assume that we are not going to be getting choices, that there's just going to be a presentation, or am I wrong?
I can provide you with all the background of everything that we have seen. I guess my thought was that I would prefer that Professor Thomas give me an opportunity to show what he has developed and the reasoning behind it. But I'd be happy to present every option that we have seen since day one. And
How does this, whatever he presents to us, how does this take effect? Is it something that we have to vote to say this is our new letterhead now, or is it just something?
previously, that has not been the case.
Okay, I mean, it's the first time I've been involved in this kind of deal, and from past conversations, I was led to believe, maybe I was wrong, that we was gonna get 2 or 3, I don't wanna pick 250.
And I think I probably misled you a little bit because maybe I wasn't quite under the understanding of what was
I
going
thought
to
it
take
was,
place.
I thought it was gonna be that you guys were gonna come up with 2 or 3 that you thought was, good, and then pass it on to us, and then we was all gonna take part in it. I mean, I'm sure what you come up with will probably be fine, it's just, that's not how I thought it was gonna happen.
I think that was my impression also.
Well, and like I said, and I will take the blame for that, for not maybe understanding completely what the process was going to be. Again, I'll be happy to share everything with you. I can send that easily to you, and I can show you what I would say the last final 5 or 6 was that we started looking at and ranking within staff, a fairly large group of us, about 13 or 14 of us looked at and kind of whittled it down to what we came up with today. And, I don't think there's anything that says whatever Professor Thomas comes up with, what he shows on Monday night is, gospel, that we got to go forward with that.
Yes.
But first thing tomorrow, I will get all that stuff out to you. You can see, like I said, there was probably, maybe 30 taglines that we went, some were various alterations of similar things, but, and then there was some, for the logo regarding, we went through some wholesale changes towards the end, I'll be quite honest. Commissioner Kassler gave me one that he had designed, and I'd be happy to forward that along to you as well. But I guess my thought is that when Professor Thomas comes and shows you what he thinks is the final product and an explanation why, then, you know, we can decide whether or not that's truly what we want to do, or if there's some of these others that you think are a little better suited for us.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is it would be nice, I don't need to look at 30 of them.
Yeah.
But if you narrowed it down to 5 that were the top 5 from the staff, and then sent it to us and said, all right, here's the top 5, what are your picks?
Right.
And see if we're all in the same,
Well, sounds
anywhere
like-
close to an agreement on
Sounds
it.
like we're past that, because he's coming with the presentation.
Right,
Yeah.
true. So,
Yeah, but
All right.
I will get those sent out. And again, that is my fault for not completely understanding the process myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I had somebody approach me on 2 different subjects. Number 1, 11th and Klein. I've talked to you about the past. That sign that gets ran over weekly.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. I asked you about the regulations and stuff. It's a complaint that I get quite a bit.
And I
just
think I
wanted to follow
noticed
up.
maybe that it was down and gone.
I'd like to comment.
And it was my discussion with staff was if we put it up the last time, if it got ran over again, we were going to leave it down. So I think the intent is to leave it down.
Okay.
Can I make a real quick comment on that? I drive that every day on the way to work. And I think what it is that I've about hit it myself because it's so thin that it's in your blind spot. And if we was to replace it, I would suggest something big.
Well, and the fact that it doesn't really have any island curbing around it.
Yeah, there's no reflection if you're coming from, the north, you don't even see it until, whoa,
Right.
there it is.
I
Which I know it's there
I think
now.
we've determined that we can leave it down.
Awesome.
We did, like I said, when you and I spoke last time, we did put it up, but if it was going to get hit again, we were done putting it up, I believe. So,
I was gonna say, if we were gonna put it back up, can we not put something that's visibly, you're gonna have to run over something
Almost
before
kind of
you
became
get
a
to
thing
it?
for us to see if the sign was still up.
Right,
right.
so,
The second thing that was asked of me is Overlook Street. It's a street that this person feels needs widened when there's no sidewalks, no place for when there is any event on that road, that it's just nowhere to park, nowhere, it fills up.
That's gonna be costly.
Well, but in the future, is there anything to do with that, or he's gonna leave it alone?
yeah, so, and I'll kind of reiterate what Marcus is saying here, because I drive that street every single day going home. And that has become quite a popular street for kids walking home from school too. And unless they're walking through people's yards or walking in the street, that road is pretty narrow and it's not marked very well. I mean, you get on one end of the road and you got enough for a vehicle, and then on the other side, there's enough for 2, and then you get to the other end of the road and it's vice versa on that. So, I mean, I have to believe that there's something that down the road that we can do to work on that road, because it has become, I mean, I've almost hit a person.
That'd probably take filling in the ditches with culverts.
I think
When-
if I
yeah.
remember correctly, that road has to have a full, Chuck, am I remembering right?
It'd be a multi-million-dollar.
That,
Big
that
one.
road would have to,
It's
if,
an old county section line road.
Yeah.
Right.
you have to, yeah, you,
and that's been discussed in years past, and they said it would cost like he said, multi-million dollars.
Right.
And the other thing is there was something, if we ever do anything besides overlay it, it'll take a full depth replacement to be able to fix the road correctly.
Can we stripe it?
Went blank.
Yeah, you should widen it.
Yeah.
Sound like we're gonna have to work on getting some more taxpayers in here.
I think what we need, I think
Yeah,
what
yeah, I agree.
Can
What
we
we need
stripe
is
it, though? I mean,
jobs is what we need.
Jobs, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
can we stripe it to be able to have a dividing line, at least, just to know what side and everything like that? I mean, if 4th and 5th are striped, then, I mean, is that
stripe overlook?
just the lines that you're supposed to have on the,
Just a center stripe is what you're
It
referring
has a
to?
line down the middle.
I don't think it
It
did.
has a line down the middle. Yeah. By the way, I'm glad I see some progress on the bridge, finally.
Yeah.
Started today, I think.
By our bridge.
Right? I feel like it.
That's all I have.
I don't have anything. Anything else?
I guess maybe one thing that I had overlooked, you will see that the stop signs are starting to be installed downtown.
Looks good.
Right now, we're kind of skirting the outskirts of the downtown area, but they make a noticeable difference.
You have the one over right over here done?
Yeah,
Which-
right over here, a couple of them on Patterson, down on 9th and Patterson.
I'm still sitting there 5 minutes waiting on the green light, so if anybody sees me, I'm just waiting on a green light.
I was asked for a 5-minute executive session with attorney-client privileges.
I'd like to take it to 10.
10? 10 minutes.
Motion second, whatever.
Second. Motion, second.
You made the motion, Martin.
Sure.
I'll second it. I don't know what it's about, but I'll second it.
Motion was made by Mayor Bauer and seconded by Commissioner Taylor to recess to executive session for discussion of attorney-client.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Reconvene on or before
Is it too late?
7:45.
Hey, I just remembered something. We had KOMA training up in Chanute. I just wanted the public and staff to know, we had some really good training up there. Kansas, lady from the state of Kansas came down, and it was 2 hours and 10 minutes or something like that. Really good training, and I'd suggest that, you know, one of the things I thought as I went through that, we should have had that, we, commissioners, should have that when we start. I mean, I didn't know what I was missing out on, okay?
I've been to one in the past, they're good training.
Yeah, and I think we need to come up with some type of guideline that, or for sure, a strongly urged suggestion that new commissioners, and they know that when they run for the office, okay? That and maybe make it mandatory that they get that training. They covered executive sessions, they covered a lot of stuff besides just, I mean, open meetings covers a lot of stuff. And there was a lot of people there. A lot of people don't know it, but your board, all your public boards have to follow that guideline. School boards, hospital boards, all the boards, okay, city commission, all that. And it was really good training. I needed it for one. And I think we should make mandatory to do that. I think everybody would enjoy it, because I know I did. So I'll just say that.
Shall we extend it to 7:50?
That's correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are you expecting
Do what?
any action?
I signed the copy.